Okay, so I've never told, like, no one on my channel knows this, but I'm just gonna say it. On May 31st, I'm gonna be moving from Fort Scott to Oklahoma. So this is gonna be our last Fort Cinema experience.
That's crazy. We saw so many movies together, like, over the years, so it's...
Yeah, like, a lot of really fantastic works of art, like, that have really, like, just given us, like a great insight on film.
Yeah, it's inspired us to, like, do a lot better for Goldston Studios, Yates Enterprises, stuff like that.
Yeah. And I thought to, like, and ever since watching George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road, I had, like, thought, okay, Furiosa, this is gonna be awesome, like, this is gonna be insane, like, Miller did such a great job with it. And we were heartbroken.
This one was kind of a dud.
It really hurts for me, like, it hurt, like, alright, so Thade has not seen Fury Road.
But I've saw, like, a lot of the clips, and I thought, like, okay, this looks sick. Like, I'm going to try and rent this right after watching Furiosa. And I still am. I still definitely want to watch Mad Max Fury Road, but I was, like, shocked at what this movie was like, really.
Yeah, okay. Alright, it's time. I usually don't like doing this for, like, movies I see. Like, this is kind of a rarity for me. Like, most of the films that I've seen in the cinemas have been, like, great ones. Like, the worst it's come to, it was, like, it being alright. But Furiosa, this is, like, one where I'm just like, okay, that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's...
Alright, it's time for rapid fire negativity. First off, what happened to the vibrancy of this world? Like, alright, Mad Max Fury Road is... I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's one of the greatest films, like, that I've ever seen. One of the best films of the last 10 years and one of the best films of the 2010s, and easily George Miller's magnum opus. And, like, it's also just so vibrant. It's bursting and popping with color just everywhere. And here, yes, there are some, like, vibrancy in it, but I just feel like
it's very dull.
Yes, like, it's kind of upset me, because I was like, you look at the poster, like, it's so vibrant, it looks just like Fury Road, but then you see the film and it's just not.
And there were some times in the film where they got it and then they just didn't do it for like 90% of the movie. Like, I don't know why.
Another thing that took a step down is the action. I mean,
yeah, people were hyping this up like this was going to be non-stop action, like,
yeah,
everything was going to be nuts, like balls to the wall stuff.
Yeah, I even saw a tweet that said there's going to be like a 15-minute scene. Like, I remember sending Thade that and saying, okay, we're watching this.
Well, that was like hyping me up. Like, this was one of the films I was really looking forward to see, like, especially after Dune Part 2, Civil War, like, stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, how did they not deliver on the action part? Mad Max is supposed to be like a balls to walls, like, crazy, non-stop action, kind of like thriller. Especially with Furiosa, the character, like, it was supposed to be kind of like nuts.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't that. It just wasn't. I
mean, I'll give the film this. Like, there are some really nice action scenes. Like there are some times where I was like, okay, that's a really cool shot. It's like, that's a really nice stunt.
But there was, like, only, like, a couple of them. Like, there was one really cool shot they had with Chris Hemsworth's character at, like, the beginning. I remember that. Remember with, like, the red mist and stuff?
Yes. That is, like...
Where did that go for the rest of the movie? Like, why'd they just do that for one scene?
Yeah, that was a scene, like, of excitement and vibrancy. Why was the whole movie not like that?
Also, one very small thing I noticed in the film that was, like, the transitions. The transitions were very weird. They were like PowerPoint transitions. I don't even know. It's like
the editor. It's like they had to edit this film on iMovie, and even I could do that. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I feel like I've gotten better with, like, iMovie over the years, and I feel like I kind of could have done better on Furiosa.
Because it just, there was a lot of times where it just faded to black and then just came out, like, why? Why did that even need to be? Like, I don't understand. I don't know if that's just me, but that just seemed very, like, jarring whenever that would happen. Like, If they just would have not had that, it would have helped the movie out a little bit.
Yes.
And another thing too, the music. It seemed like there was not very much music in the movie.
Yeah, like, that's another kind of iconic thing of Fury Road. It was Junkie XL's score. Like, his score in Fury Road just made you, like, kind of, like, like, not literally, but, like, sweating. Just, like, with anticipation, like, giving you, like, making you feel anxious about what's gonna happen. Because, like, and that's what made, one of the things that made that film so great. Like, it made you so invested. But here,
it's just gone for, like, most of the scenes. I don't know why. It's like there's action going on, and if the music was there, it would help it out a little bit, but it's just not. Like, I don't understand why that wouldn't be in the film. It's very confusing.
And guess what? There's more negativity. Like how we seem to skip quite a bit.
Yeah, all the interesting parts of Furiosa's past, they just skip over. Like,
yeah.
Like, there's parts where she's training up, like, okay, this is how you're going to be a Wastelander, and then they just skip to the end. Like, why? And then there's going to be the war part?
Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert.
Okay.
There's going to be the 4-day war. Skipped.
Okay, so imagine How to Train Your Dragon. Imagine, like, Hiccup finds Toothless. Then all of a sudden, we just immediately transition to, like,
the end of the movie.
Hiccup and Toothless, like, flying. Like, that's basically Furiosa. Like,
well, it's like we had Doom Part 1, and then, like, he met the Freeman, and then they just skip to the end, and he's, like, fighting Faith. Like, it makes no sense. They just skip over all the interesting parts.
Yeah, they skipped over the parts that could have had so much potential, and, like, that really could have dived into more of, like, Furiosa.
Well, and speaking of that, too, the whole first half of the movie almost does not even need to happen. I mean, like, there's some parts of it, but...
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy, well, spoiler alert, does not even appear for, like, 2 hours of the movie almost. Like, an hour and a half, maybe. She's, like, barely... Relative to the film's runtime, she's not in it that much, which is very nuts in a movie that's called Furiosa, where she's supposed to be the main character. I think didn't she appear like an hour and a half or something into the movie? It seemed like half of the movie she was not in there, which I thought was very nuts. And I mean, the actress for the younger version of Furiosa, I mean, she did a good job.
Yeah. I'll give her that.
But like, we wanted to kind of see the more interesting parts, I kind of think.
Yes.
Because a lot of the parts they showed for the first half was her just kind of being captured, and then like they were just talking for like an hour, and like nothing happened. Like I don't know. It just seemed very weird to me.
And yes, the negativity. The okay. The negativity continues. Shit. I'm just gonna hold it like this, probably,
yeah.
Or like.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, I kind of fumbled it. I'll just keep holding it like this. But like, another thing that Furiosa lacks, or like that Fury Road has, and Furiosa doesn't, is like the intense like cocaine like editing. Like, Mad Max Fury Road is like if cinema just took a snort of crack cocaine or crystal meth, and it's just crazy, bombastic, bonkers, insane. It never stops. Like, it's as high as a kite. But here in Furiosa, it's like the film's more sober.
Yeah, it's like they get out the sleepy tea and it's all right, just take a quick nap and you can come back to the story in a little bit. There's multiple times where the characters just fall asleep and then they just wake up and they go back to sleep. Like, what? Remember that one part in the middle of the film where, like, Furiosa fell back asleep and then she got woken up by the dude and then she just went back to sleep? Like, what was that scene even in there for?
Exactly.
I don't, like, it literally makes you go to sleep, and at the end where it's supposed to be like this climactic thing against the villain, she like knocks him out and wakes him up like 3 times. Like, I don't know. And it has those fade to black transitions. Like, I want it to be like cutting like nonstop. Like that's one movie where you want it to kind of be like crazy, and it's really not.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Last thing, like, me and Luke both kind of had the same thought that like we just felt kind of like empty watching this movie. It's not a bad film, but it's just there's not much substance to it, really.
Yeah, and like for some of this, I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself from when I saw Challengers. Like, yes, Challengers was good. I did like it. But I just felt like that one was also kind of like overhyped and had some things that kind of took me out of the movie.
Yeah, like, I just don't know why they were trying to hype up the action and stuff. It really did not deliver on that aspect.
Okay, I'll admit, I was very, very negative on this. Like, being negative is something I don't want to do because, like, I know how hard it is to make a movie. Like, I really know the struggles that filmmakers have to go through to get their vision made. So now, let's talk about some positives. Because despite all the flaws and how many steps Furiosa takes back,
It still does have some good steps.
yes, there are some nice shots. Like, there are some really nice shots in the film. There is a bit of vibrancy. Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth did pretty good, even if they were kind of got a bit dull towards the end. And like some of the practical stuff is cool, like that, like the reveal that Furiosa's arm is just dangling.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And seeing all the things like sucking on, like,
Pause.
yeah, I could hear Thade being like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, there was some parts where like where Furiosa's arm was getting eaten by parasites.
Yes.
I was like, oh jeez, that
yes.
was nuts. I wish there was more stuff like that in the movie.
Yeah.
That part was very cool. That's thing, and I thought some of the character designs were good.
Yeah.
And like the designs for the bikes and the vehicles were really cool.
Even like whenever Mad Max, like whether it's good or bad, one thing that'll always be consistent is how awesome the vehicles are. Like that's one of the best things to see when you're watching a Mad Max film. At least from the ones that I've seen, this and Fury Road.
Yeah. That's the thing, and overall, I mean, it wasn't, a bad story. It kind of lacked in some ways, but it was at least a cohesive story, I think.
Yeah. Like, even if the film can be bad, I still feel like you can get some enjoyment out of this one. So for that, Furiosa, for me, I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, like, there are some moments. The film has its moments. But I just feel like...
It really missed the mark in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it didn't have to be full-on, like, Mad Max Fury Road, because it would be hard to try and top that movie.
Yes, like, Fury Road is such a hard film to live up to.
But it just seemed like it didn't get very close. Like, it definitely should have gotten close.
Yeah, I tried my hardest to, like, not compare this to Fury Road. But, I don't know, I just kept comparing it to it, because, like, this is supposed to be setting up for Fury Road, in a way.
And it seemed like it barely did. Like, it kind of did it at the very end for, like,
yeah,
a minute or
and
two.
And in the post-credit stuff, they took the footage of Fury Road and just took out all the vibrant colors and just made it like every other movie being made this decade.
Yeah, that's kind of ironic because that's kind of what the actual movie did, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, and like, that's also similar. Okay, this is not about the movie, but this is also kind of similar to the trailers we had to watch before Fury Road, before the film started. Like, there was Deadpool, Bad Boys,
and what was the other one?
Horizon, but that one didn't look that bad. Oh yeah, and there was also like a film front and center that they have here at the cinema, and they gave us a little insight on the upcoming musical Wicked, which yay, modern filmmaking.
Yeah,
let's not color grade our films anymore.
Let's make it all look like a commercial.
Let's just desaturate everything. Let's take out all the vibrancy and wonder of filmmaking, and let's just.
How do these filmmakers watch stuff like Dune Part 2 and then they're just like, let's just not do that.
Yeah.
Let's just not put any thought into like the filmmaking part of it. We'll just make it look very dull.
And it really sucks to see that Furiosa is kind of followed in these footsteps. I'm just.
Well, I thought too, this movie did not need to be like 2.5 hours long. Like, it was very drug out.
Not only that, I honestly feel like we didn't even need this movie because, like,
it barely sets it up. It really, you don't have to watch this to like the other one.
You could just watch Fury Road, and you can understand like Furiosa's like motives, backstory, or from what I can remember, like you could still understand all that without even having to watch Furiosa. So overall, in conclusion, this was not a good way to end off us seeing movies at Fort Cinema. However, this is not the end. This is not the end, because next month, even if we're like 4 hours apart, Thade and I are gonna be joining together for another film. And if you're wondering what film that is, it is Jeff Nichols' The Bike Riders.
Yes, sir.
Now that one,
that's gonna be good. I think I can guarantee that.
We've been waiting so long for that, and we are not ending off our. Even if we're not going to see each other that much, we are not ending off our movie watching experience with a dud.
We're gonna keep it going with a banger with The Bike Riders.
Yeah. I also just hope if this is going to be Miller's last film, then I hope he makes another one to just kind of course correct this, because like it's just kind of sad with that. Like it really made me feel heartbroken.